This is one of the cycles. It's the marriage of Illmarien. In the east and in the west, two mighty heroes, hero friends, unbeknown to each other, prepared. In the west, old Illmarien plaited his grey locks, put upon his brow the helmet made of mistletoe, the one, it was said, he had sung from the trees that caught the summer's light. And on his back he put his holy lute, the lute by which he had taught the gods to sing, the lute by which he could play tunes that could melt in the ice field. He strapped on his belt a great black axe, climbed upon his coal-black mare, and rode to the north. Well, into the east, the smith of the heroes, Illmarien, plaited his golden locks, put all his golden trinkets on his great bronze sled, the one with the silver steel runnels. On his belt he hung his sword, the one with a silver pommel. And then he put his living forge fire in the iron pot he always travelled with it, and got on his sled. But then, as an afterthought, he went back to his house, and he took from its rack the holy sabble, in which jewel light he had captured the very light of creation, it was said. The light that served as the template for the stars, in which the fates of gods and men were called. And he put it in his jerkin. And he rode his sled with his reindeer north. Across the narrowing lands the two heroes went, getting ever closer, 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 as they went towards Bodju, Lapland, until at last only an ice floe lay between them. And then Illmarien said, "Illmarien, where do you go?" And Illmarien said, "I go off to the citadel of cruelty and ice, for I am going to woo the maiden of the north." And Illmarien said, "Well, I am on the self-same quest. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll ride either side of this ice floe, and we'll make a pact that we're not going to quarrel over this. More than that, the one that loses out will be the best man to the other. What do you say, Illmarien?" And Illmarien smiled. And they rode either side of the ice floe that led right into the theatre of cruelty and glass. Not theatre, the citadel of cruelty and glass. Right up to the very throne of pain, where sat the crone of the north. And when they came in, she said, "Well now, what brings you two from the southlands here?" And they both explained their quest. And they wished to woo the maiden of the north. And the crone laughed and turned to her daughter, who sat hard by, the maiden of the north, and said, "Lo, which of these fine men do you want?" And the maiden of the north looked at them long in the eyes, with her eyes the colour of sunset. And then she nodded towards Illmarien. And the crone of the north laughed and said, "This is not so easy. I have 3 tasks for him if he would really be my son-in-law." And all of a sudden, it seemed to Illmarien, the great citadel was gone, and he and the crone of the north were standing right next to a great gorge. But she bade him look over, and he looked down, and he saw it was not deep. It was scarcely knee-height, and down there was a churning, yearning mass that seemed to be made of serpents with many heads, or shifting clouds, the colour of broken ice. And he said, "What is this?" And the crone of the north said, "Behold, in this gorge are caught all the fates that might be. All possible worlds lie here, churning away, and we do not know what way things will happen from it. But I would have you, if you will be my son-in-law, take these 7 seeds, 7 things I want to pass, and sow them in this field, that I might know what will be." And then she was gone. And Illmarien looked at the shifting serpent and wondered what to do. But being wise, perhaps, he went off back to the citadel, to the chamber of the maiden of the north. And when he came in, she said, "I have looked in my mother's dark glass, and I know what you must do. Heat up your forge fire. Take all those golden trinkets you were going to give me. Take your sword and melt it all. Use the gold to construct the body of a plough. Use the blade of your sword to create a ploughshare. And from the silver pommel, make some snowshoes. And then plough that field." And Illmarien did what she said. He blew up the flame, the living flame, in his pot, He reforged the gold, the silver, the steel of his sword, made a plowshares, made shoes, and then with great bravery jumped into the field. And the minute his silver shoes touched it, it froze hard. And then with his great plough, he ploughed 7 great ruts into it, and put in each a seed. And as he climbed out, the plough fell back, and his shoes fell off, fell back into the field, which turned immediately into shifting serpents, and they were lost. And Illmarien stood and looked over the gorge, and he saw the 7 shining seeds had already sprung to life, and were unwinding fates of their own. And all of a sudden, the crone was with him, and she laughed and said, "You've done it! Right, I have a second task for you." And she led him then to that place all smiths know so well, for it is the place that all iron points to. Right to the north it lay, but she pointed north, further north still, and said, "Do you not see? The great bear of heaven has broken free from the stars. It is even now trying to unpick the fabric of the heavens, trying to scratch its way through. But why?" said Illmarien. "Do you not know what lies beyond? The great timber wolf of Tillum, that which lies at the beginning and the end of all things. The bear knew that wolf in past times, and wishes to see it again. But it must not do it." And Illmarien said, "No, it must not. But how will we stop it?" And the crone said, "That is your task. Bring the bear to me, and bring me also the wolf, for I think I will have to tether it again, for it is broken free on the other side." And Illmarien went again to the crone, to the maiden of the north. And again she said, "I have seen in that dark glass what you must do. Kill your reindeer. Take all the tackle and make a great bit out of it. Take all your gear, all your leather from your harness, and make it into a muzzle. Use the bit to ride the bear, and the muzzle for the wolf." And Illmarien, sad, did what she suggested, building a great muzzle and a bit. And then he went back up to the northmost point, and stepped into the heavens, climbing towards the bear, and he saw it there, snuffling away, scratching with its great paws into the heavens. And as he watched in horror, he suddenly realized something was looking back from where the boy was scratching, a great wolf eye. And he knew he had not a moment to lose. He swung up on the bear of heaven's great tail, breaking the end off. And he climbed along it, and the bear, feeling that, stood up and started to try to shake him off. But it was no good, for Illmarien was a hero. And he swarmed up the bear onto its shoulder, and it turned to bite him. In went the bit. And he drove then the bear towards the hole. But just as he got to it, he heard something that made his heart freeze. Ow! The wolf ran free. Its head came right through the hole, biting. So he got the reindeer corpse and he threw it in the wolf's mouth. And it closed in joy on the meat. And as the mouth closed, Illmarien bent down with his muzzle, and he muzzled the wolf. And then he dragged it through the hole and took it to the great throne of pain. And the crone laughed with joy to see these new slaves. Ha ha!